Welcome, everybody, to It Tastes Different. I'm going to need your help, and I'm going to need you guys to like and subscribe these videos for us. If you like what we're doing and want to keep supporting us so we can keep doing what we do, make sure you like and subscribe these videos for us. And if you got comments or questions, make sure you put those down in the comment section, too. We're looking for suggestions on review topics and all kinds of stuff. What's on the menu for tonight? We head on over to our favorite Italian restaurant and have the spaghetti, Lady and the Tramp style, with It Takes Two. It Takes Two is developed by Hazelight Studios. It's a co-op action adventure platformer game is what I would say. It's basically made by the same people who did No Way Out. So if you played No Way Out, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. It's a game that you can't play by yourself, no matter how much you want to. You have to have a partner. So, I'm going to turn this over to my hetero life mate that we played the game together with, Russell Rowe. What was your thoughts on this one, Russ? Did you like it? Didn't you like it? Tell us what you thought.
So, first and foremost, this game is about Cody and May. Cody and May are in a rocky relationship. Their daughter is very sad, very upset. A Disney moment ensues, and we have a tear. And then next thing you know, you are basically two puppets, or like Honey, I Shrunk the Kid doll style things. And so I won't get into too much of the game, but I will say, man, I had a blast with this game. It came at the right time. I think the last few games we've had have just been kind of rough to review. This one here, me and Patrick finished it in one sitting. We ate a little bit, but it was about 11 hours. We finished it. It was just one of those, it was just solid all the way through. We had, I don't want to take too much from Patrick, but I think we had one true bug, which actually turned out to kind of help us on the knight the queen and the king battle in the castle. Beyond that, it was a very, very well put together game. It was so great that I can easily look past that little part there. I don't want to go too much into our favorite levels or anything like that. I just want to give you a quick thought for me. I hope that there are more games out there like this that are this well thought out. The story was great. I can't say enough about this game. So I'll flip it over to the other male counterpart in this group, and that would be Shane. So Shane, what did you think?
I'm going to say something that probably irritate a few of you, but I think this game, as of this year so far, is definitely a contender for Game of the Year. This game has everything you can enjoy. It's well thought out. It's well put together. It's there's so many moments in that game where you just laugh and smile. It's an amazing game. The developer made No Way Out. I love that game. Me and Nick played the crap out of it. Our sons played the crap out of it. It was funny when the wiener scene popped up. You heard a bunch of laughter there. But it's just astonishing that the game caught me that much, because the premise seems, like Russ pointed out, kind of Disney. But no, it was amazing. They did such a good job at it that any little flaw you could find in that game is well pushed aside, because they do everything so well when they do it well. I'm going to flip it to my not quite so heterosexual life mate, Nick. What do you got?
Yeah, this game was great. I really enjoyed it. It's a fun co-op experience. Like you guys said, this was the developer that made A Way Out, not No Way Out. Just so clarify that. It's A Way Out, but A Way Out is it's also a great game by them. They also made a couple other games. I think that Brother one, I can't remember, Max and the Brother or something like that, but I never played that one. It was supposed to be pretty good too.
Amazing.
Patrick's saying they did not make that game. Sorry, Shane.
Yeah, they only made two games. This one and A Way Out. Hazelight. I keep saying Hazel. It's Hazelight Studios.
Hazelight.
They've only made 2 games.
Give them money because I want more.
Regardless, this was a great game. It was a lot of fun. It's a great co-op game. It's a ton of fun to play with someone that, you definitely want to play with a friend, because you're going to have a lot of fun time. I think playing with a random would be a little weird, but playing with a friend is a lot of fun. And, if you got that one friend that has this game, the great thing about this game too, and they did this with the last one, A Way Out, is that even if, on Xbox you can do the game share, but even with other consoles, they don't have necessarily game share or something like it. In this one, you can download, if your friend has it and you don't, you can download the friend pass, which allows you to play the full game with your buddy, which is really cool. Because it does take 2, in this one, to play the game. So, if you don't have someone to play with, you need to find somebody. So the ability for them to add a friend pass that you can download, say, hey, I bought this game, let's play it together. Well, I don't own it. That ain't no problem. Go download the friend pass, which is free on the store. You can go download it and you guys can play together. And it's a ton of fun. It's a blast to play. Great co-op. I mean, when you think about co-op games, this is the best co-op you could ever think of when it comes to co-op. It's the best alliteration of co-op there is out there. So, I'm greatly looking forward to more games by this developer, and hopefully maybe, they could kind of traverse that co-op field and go with a 4-player co-op and see how they do with something like that. But these ideas are awesome, and the things they come up with in this game are really cool, and the way they, utilize both co-op partners and how they work together throughout the levels and stuff is just, they've really thought this stuff out. So yeah, this game's a 2 thumbs up. It's an awesome game for sure.
So was there one mission in particular, Pat, that you two had, thought about trying to work together that is like, no, you got to go do this, you got to do that?
Well, I'm probably going to be the outlier in the group and say I absolutely hate. No, I'm just kidding. I love this game. I don't know. Russ and I have been playing games together for years. The better part of, we've been friends for a long time now. We've been playing games together since Star Wars Galaxy's days, if that tells you how long it's been. So, I mean, really, honestly, we didn't have a lot of issues, in the game. Maybe it was learning a couple of the mechanics, but I think the only thing that really we had the most trouble with getting through was probably the clock tower, just because of how fast-paced a lot of the stuff was, and to just do a couple of weird little time rewind things. But outside of that, it really wasn't problematic. There wasn't anything we died a whole lot on, to be honest. It's just weird. It's just funny how the game played out, because it seems intuitive when we were playing together. There wasn't hardly anything. I guess when you talk about this game, one of the things that people got to realize is that even though you play online, you still see the other character. So it's like split screen on your TV, and that's probably something that some people don't understand. If they've never played A Way Out, even though you're playing online, like I see the left half of the screen because I played May and Russ played Cody, so he sees the right half of the screen. And it's the same thing on his TV. He sees Cody on the right half of the screen and May's on the left hand. So he sees that, and that's the way it works. So, you kind of can see what the other player can do, so you can kind of coordinate a little bit. Like if you don't see something right off the bat, you can be like, hey, I think you can do that. Like in the very beginning where, May has the hammer and Cody has the nails, you start going around, you're like, oh, I can hit this with my hammer, and it goes up, and you kind of, it almost feels like cheating because you hit the thing and you're looking on the other side of the screen. You're like, oh, okay, look, there's a little spot where you can throw the nail that binds this up, and so it's kind of one of those things where you work together a lot, and you just see what the other one sees. And sometimes just something doesn't stick out and the other person can see it. And sometimes it's luck of the draw where you're like, oh, okay, I didn't even realize that. It's really good game. And if the listeners and people watching the video haven't figured out, we basically paired off. Russ and I paired together, and Shane and Nick paired off together. So, I loved the game. And I didn't find it really that difficult for anything. It was just really fun and intuitive to play together. Great co-op game.
I would say if we if we really struggled at any point, like I would say struggle, and it's really a light struggle because basically we just traded off dying. That was the disco ball. The disco ball got kind of hairy there for a minute. I mean, that part there was just a touch hairy, and I don't want to ruin it for too many players or anything like that, but that part was a little hairy. But that whole part there, that whole level there of getting the audience was fantastic. It was a blast. I don't know that there was anything that I really hated in this game at any point in time. So, but Shane had asked what was the most difficult for us, and I would say nothing was too difficult, but that was probably the most stressful moment.
Yep, I would say so.
And the mic was, but that was a great cutscene right there.
That's all in the last level, by the way.
Awesome.
It's all in the attic.
Yeah, the reason I had asked that is because I felt the same way when me and Nick were playing. We may have died a couple times here, a couple times there, but like you said, it really is intuitive. But the reason I brought it up is there's the one area where one of the many things that you can do, and there's a ton of little things throughout the game. There's a spot called Hell Tower, and you have to platform your way up to the top. I don't know if you guys found it or not, but me and Nick spent an hour trying to get up this thing. Well, no, Nick spent 45 minutes. I spent the hour trying to get up this dang tower. And when you finally get up there, you can shoot off fireworks and explode them. And it was silly fun. We kept falling down. But finally, when we got up there, it was a blast. Plus 50 points on achievements. And that was one thing too. Did you guys notice, like Nick noticed, because he was the first one to point it out, there was no achievements that we found for clearing a level. It was all the extra stuff that you do, the mini games and like the Hell Tower stuff. Did you guys notice that as well?
Yeah, the achievements were a little bit rare. The only achievement for completion of anything is the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's the only achievement that was tied to doing just what you had to do to get through the game that I recognized.
Did you guys find the swing set in the globe?
Yes.
Did you guys launch people off of the swing?
Yes.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. The little things in the game is really what makes it so awesome. There were so many spots and levels and whatnot that were like homages to other games. There was like some Gears of War stuff going on there with the lava layouts, some Halo Warthog getting the heck out of their moments. What was the room that we found, Nick? It was Zelda. It was a rupee room, a room full of pots. There was just so many things in there.
Yep, there's Mario homages in there.
Yeah,
there's a part towards the end where he even says, "Hey, it's a me," when you're playing the game, and you're like, "Oh my god, stop just short of enough to get sued,"
Yeah. Yeah, Nick, what was one thing that you were just really surprised by this game?
I think for me, it was just, A Way Out was the co-op in that game was really good, but they really expanded it with this one. I mean, just the level of co-op in this game, the level of working together is so high barred compared to A Way Out. A Way Out had a lot of good co-oping experiences, but this is like, if that's their first endeavor, they took that and just, quadrupled it in this. I mean, just a level of co-op is so crazy, and it's like, we played co-op games, but you'll never play a game that just focuses so heavily on co-op as this game is. I mean, you have to rely on your partner a lot to get through anything in this game. Every little puzzle and every little thing has you and the other person working together to make this happen. Otherwise, you cannot get past it. So I think that is one of the coolest things and one of the most fun things about this game. And it really just shows that this company, if they continue to go down that route with these types of games, I think for all of us, these are games that we're going to really look forward to once they're announced.
Right. Yeah. And you know, the game has it's multiplayer. The game has co-op, but it also has some versus stuff. All the mini games in the game are you versus your partner. So you're doing just weird stuff. Like the very first one that you run into is the whack-a-mole game. And that's so hilarious where you're May on top of the thing just trying to whack Cody with your hammer as he pops up from the little holes in the cardboard box. And I'm just like, what is this? And then you play a game of chess later on and you do all this other stuff. There's just so many mini games in there. There's, I think the most frustrating ones for me was the stupid little laser game where you had to run across the lights and they would send laser beams over to your partner's thing. And you're trying to like let them build up where there's like 5 or 6 of them in a row. So you can just send all 5 of them at once. And you're like, yeah, take that, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was getting competitive because, after we've had the first few, you know, Nick beat me on the first few of them, and man, it was starting to get competitive. We were hunting those things down like there was no tomorrow because I want to catch up. I'm not going to lose to him. And,
right. We made a rule where we only played each one once so that we couldn't do that.
yeah, we did it too because we would have never gotten as far as we did. And that's one thing about this game. I think A Way Out was 4-6 hours, something like that. And this one, you guys did in about 11, 12, right?
About 11, a little over 11 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it never felt drugged out. It never felt like it was just the same thing at any point in the game. It was always new and fresh. Every level, every mini game, everything was just awesome. The worlds that they developed was probably the water world is probably my favorite and most annoying and favorite at the same time. What about you, Pat? Did you have like one world that was like, this is cool?
Yeah. The very last one, the attic, was my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite was the space area until I got to the very end, and I was like, "Oh no, it's getting dethroned." The space area got kicked off. I was like, "This is much better than the space area," because I wasted a lot of time in the space area. I don't know how long I played around and was goofing off in that stupid no gravity tunnel that goes up and down. I screwed around with that thing so much. And, you know, just doing all that stuff. There's lots of little hidden things in each level. Like in the space level, you had to find all the little rocket ships and launch those, you know, and every level had their own like hidden items that you had to find and collect to get achievements and trophies. And they weren't all easy to find, you know, I mean, but for the most part, the game has you working really well together with little to no until the boss fights, because the levels are broken up into like doing all these little puzzles, and then there's like a boss fight type thing at the end of each one of them where you're cooperating. All of them, I think, were pretty much low key except for the ice level that had you kind of like fixing the candy line with the little angler fish down there with you trying to eat you. You know?
Yeah, he got me a couple times.
We got lucky. I don't think he ever got us once. He almost got us in the last one, but nobody ever got eaten, so we got lucky. But it's very much just working together to achieve the goals, and, you know, and you can't do anything alone in this game, really. I mean, you maybe get lucky and get something done, but for the most part, you have to use your partner to get up to another level, or you know, you have to use the skills, because every level has a theme, or every chapter, I should say, because they break it up into chapters like that. But every chapter / level has a theme, and the theme changes the abilities of the couple, because, you know, we didn't really kind of give the premise of the story, I don't think. I think Russ mentioned that it was Cody and May were in a rocky marriage. But in all honesty, in the beginning of the game, they're getting a divorce is what's happening. And your daughter finds out. You tell your daughter over, like, I couldn't tell if it was breakfast or dinner. It looked like everybody had a bowl of cereal. So I was going to say it was breakfast. And so she cried over a set of dolls that she made and turned you guys into those dolls, you know? So, and then your goal is you trying to get to Rose to figure out how to undo it. You meet the Book of Love, you know. He's hilarious in the whole thing, you know. And he's running you through these different levels to try to fix your marriage, you know. And what is the whole theme of it? It's like collaboration.
Yeah. Every level is basically a chapter of the book, the way he described it. One of the funniest things, though, was the way he pronunciated relationship. You remember that one, don't you, Nick?
well, he actually uses that term a few times where he's like, "You don't have a relationship yet. You have a relationship." You know?
I didn't want to be the one to say it.
Yep. So I'll get that one out of the way. But yeah, so what about you, Nick? Did you have a favorite out of the ones you guys played?
Favorite level?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I really like all the levels, and they all have their. I guess the only one. Well, yeah. I mean, they all have their pluses and very few minuses. I enjoyed all of them. Um, I don't know if there was one I really. I think I kind of liked. I think the one that I liked the most was actually the very beginning, the vacuum cleaners and stuff. I liked shooting through the tubes and having to like pick up the vacuum cleaners, and all the vacuums had eyeballs and stuff, and like fighting the boss at the end and everything. And yeah, I liked that level. That level
There was Roombas and everything in there.
Yeah, it was flying Roombas,
fish Roombas. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That one had fish that wandered to swim away from you.
Oh my God,
Right?
AI is amazing.
Yeah, so that first introduction level is really great, and I think it really that first level really establishes how the rest of the game is. Just the absurdness and like the craziness of that level. You're like, oh my gosh, is it going to get crazy? Is it going to continue this stride? And it does, and that's really cool. And that first level really sets the bar.
Yeah.
There's
It's really hard to talk about this game and not spoil something, because I want to, when this is over, I want to discuss one scene with you, all of you guys, when this podcast is over.
Yeah. I know we have said nothing but love for this thing, and I do. I truly love this game, and as of right now, this is the only game I've played this year that I believe is a Game of the Year contender in my book. My only complaint about the game, and probably a justified one, I think you guys would probably agree, is the husband. He's just kind of a douche. I mean, he's kind of, they try to play him off a little too silly, I think. And I mean, I kind of want to divorce him myself, and I was him. It just, there was some things he would say or do that was like, I kind of understand why she don't like you,
Well,
I don't want to ruin it.
They kind of did a standard role reversal with this game.
Yeah, exactly.
They did. I don't want to ruin it, but like, I mean, the whole game is a maturation of the two. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I think that was done kind of purposely in the beginning. And I kind of felt like that too initially, but then as you go through the game, you'll see that, and when I mentioned earlier, like I called it a Disney, it is kind of a Disney-esque type of game. And the reason why I say that is because we all have a Disney movie that we can relate to that is just adult enough for us to get the little inside jokes, but then, still kid-like enough for your children. So it's like, there is some, vulgar language in the game, but it's nothing over the top. But more importantly, I think, I mean, it hooked. I mean, my favorite level, probably my favorite level, and I've been going back and forth with it, and I really did like the clock level. It was a hard level, but I really, really liked it. And I loved the nail gun, and the hammer part of it. That boss fight there was probably one of my favorite boss fights, probably because of how you had to end that boss fight for myself being that character. But it was just, I don't know, when we got done with it, it was just like, I was like, that was a blast. That's just, the whole game is great. In the last level in the attic is absolutely, it just brings the game. It's like a completion of the game. It's so perfect, but fun wise, like me and Patrick sitting there like, oh man, we got to put nails here. Okay. Bam, 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 bam. And like you had to use strategy because you only had 3 nails or you only had 2 nails at the time. And like, I thought that was all really fun.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Nick was basically, he'd be running through, all right, guide me here. Boom, nail. All right. Now put a nail there, and I'm chucking nails. And, it's the level design that this studio come up with for every level was so unique for every level. I mean, there was nothing felt carried over, nothing. And it's just astounding that this group has done what they have done, especially to pull 4 guys like us into a game like this. I didn't think you would like it as much as you do, Patrick, just because of the platforming part, because you're not a big platformer. But I mean, that's how well this game is done.
The co-op makes up for it in Patrick's sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
And what little bit of there, and there is some platforming, but in all honesty, the last level, which is my favorite, probably has the most platformy stuff in it. there's like there's like a whole, I don't know how long, there's a multiple pieces. When we fought the Mike, you're on those rails the whole time, and then there's like the slalom piece with the rainbow scene and everything. I mean, it's I don't know. This game was just, I don't know, it had something about it. And like I mentioned earlier, Russ and I have been playing games together since 2000 era. So we've been playing games for a long time, and so we've gotten. I mean, Russ and I used to make a joke. We could play Star Wars Galaxies and WoW for hours without talking. And that's how much that we were in tune with how we played, the other one played. And this game was just full of us laughing and cracking jokes and making comments about whatever was happening or whatever was going on. So, it's one of those games. It's interesting. And what it kind of made me want to do was, and Shane, you had mentioned this before we started playing, that you were going to play with your wife. I thought I should play this with Becca and see how it goes, because me and Russ work really well together, and we always have in games. So I kind of want to play with somebody who doesn't play games and see how that goes. So did you get a chance to play with your wife, Shane?
No, we're going to try Saturday evening. And I'm going to record it because I want people to see that I love her, but this is probably not going to go well.
It's probably also
because
to preserve like what happens, the crime scene. You're probably like,
Exactly.
maybe I need to record this just to make sure that if I do die, people know what happened to me.
Yeah, that's one thing I felt was interesting. It's a game about trying to fix a marriage, fix your family. And, us, we're gamers, so it's fun. We play together, but I think it's interesting to try to play this game with a spouse, that doesn't play games like that. I mean, my wife plays Carcassonne. That's it. That's about all she ever played. And she beat Nick like a little girl on it too. But I want to see how she handles the game, because the story is fantastic. It is truly a beautiful story. It is a little Disney-esque, but it's done in such a way that you don't really think too much about it. The little girl is probably my favorite part. She's probably the most real character in the thing. But it is interesting to see how this is going to work. And I want to see how it goes with you and Becca, just because I know mine's not going to go well, because I know she'll play a lot more than my wife by far. Nick, I want to see Vivian play this.
She won't play it. She'd rather watch me play it.
Oh,
I'd rather watch Nick play with two controllers trying to play it than help him out.
And I want to see.
It takes one in Nick's case.
Yeah.
You know what? If anybody could do it, it would be him, because he would punish himself all the way through it.
Yeah. He's going to make a video of him playing Cody with his feet and May with his hands. He's got Cody down there, his feet.
Yeah.
He's playing. You're like, how are you watching this?
What are you playing? It takes me.
It takes me. It takes one.
Right. Yeah.
But
So I have to ask. Me and Russ, we saved the marriage and didn't get a divorce. Did you guys make it out?
we are on page 2. Without giving too much away, we would have completed it easily, but we had some ceiling fan issues.
Yeah, I had to do some construction on Saturday.
We probably could. Okay, it won't take that long. It won't take that long. Just leave the Xbox on. I'll be right back.
See, the game already works. You two sound like you're already married.
Yeah. I told Shane we are getting a divorce after this.
I can do better. And if your brother's listening, I'm single soon.
Keep it in the family.
Right. But yeah, like you guys are saying, I mean, you guys have been playing forever. I think me and Nick, we've known each other 16, 17 years, something like that. I mean,
yeah.
And we've always worked well together in, cooperative games, shooters, whatever. And that really does help with a game like this, being in tune with a person. But I am interested to see how it works playing somebody who's, not in tune with you. I mean, because really me and Nick didn't have to say a whole lot to each other to do things. It was just, easy to figure out. But, the game's not super easy by any means.
I honestly think it'd be funny. I think me and Nick should swap. We'll swap partners. I think you and Russ should play together, and me and Nick should play together, because that'd be an interesting combo.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel that Nick plays the same way as I do. I'm very I'm very much like, Russ, do this, Russ, do that, and
That's
he's
how I
pretty
was
much
with Shane. I'm like, hit the nail over there. All right, now you gotta go over here and hit this. No, go do that
Right.
now.
Well, the
Yep.
difference
And
the
that's just
difference
how we
is
played,
that
though.
90% of the time I'm already doing it, and I'm like,
Exactly.
it's like
It's just I have
finishing
to
it.
voice it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel
I
you
have to
have to
voice
get
it.
that out there, or it's not getting done. Just like a woman.
And that's how we play. That's how me and Russ have always played. Like I say something as he's in the middle of starting to do it. Or
And that's why you two were with the wives.
right, yeah, but that's why I was the wife, but I also wore the pants in the role reversal.
That's true.
So me and Nick wore the pants, and you two were the stay-at-home daddies.
Yeah.
But
That's all right.
it would just be interesting because I kind of want to see how it plays with people who don't play games, because it is geared towards. I mean, it's very much a game that as long as you're comfortable playing with your friend in that situation, because it doesn't really get awkward until the very end of the game, and then it gets kind of awkward.
Well, I mean, just like a
But
way
it's nothing
out,
you and Russ haven't done in private.
Well, just like a way
True.
out, me and Shane, when we beat the game the first time, Shane played the other character that I was playing, and then I played the character he was playing. We played through it again, and just like that game, this game, I feel like, I wouldn't mind playing through it again just to swap who I'm playing. Now I'm playing the guy instead of the girl, and the other person I'm playing with is playing the girl instead of the guy, because you do get different puzzles and different weapons and different scenarios. You are working together, but there are different areas that you guys go to, and you have to work in different ways depending on who you're playing with. So, that kind of also brings in the replayability of games like these, where you do want to play the other side and be like, okay, what if I'm the guy this time, or if I'm this other character this time? What do I have to do? How do I have to approach this differently? How am I going to approach this differently than my partner did the first time? Right? I'm going to do things differently. Am I going to work these different scenarios differently than they did, or so yeah, it's fun.
I don't want to ruin too much, but there is something significant that, I do want to talk about, is that during the game too, when you say the role reversal, you could also kind of tell too, the role reversal within the game itself, like how, for example, right around, I don't think I'm giving anything away, but right around the garden. So right around that part of it, you saw that Cody got more predominant weapons or predominant abilities and weapons. I don't want to talk about the shield, but you get a shield later on and stuff like that. And you'll see that Cody becomes more of the support for her. I thought about it, and I didn't want to ruin the game, but it's just interesting how even during the storyline that changes. She's very headstrong in the beginning. She's all about knowing everything, and then as she matures through the story, you see a change of that. Same thing for Cody. Cody was a little kid. He was a little baby. He was a little bitch, in the beginning, and then it changed. So even the writing within that, and my gosh, this studio, they need to get together and just make a bunch of, like, what do they call the Rube Goldberg, whatever those things are called,
machines.
Yeah, they just need to make a bunch of those and just start recording them. I'll watch them all day long, because if they could make games like that, I can only imagine what they could do like in real life.
Right. I really hope they keep doing stuff, because, I never got to beat A Way Out. I think we've talked about going back to that one a few times, but I really want to finish that one after finishing this one, because I honestly completely loved this game. And like Russ said, we finished it in one day. Like, we started at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and we just took a couple of breaks throughout the day, and we finished it, that evening. So, I mean, we played it completely in one day. That's how much we were both enjoying it. And we only stepped away to eat. So
yeah, and it's that just goes to the power of this game. I mean, it's just that good. I mean, there was nothing in that game that you could hate on. Period. I mean, maybe some things bug you a little bit, but nothing to hate on. Period. And I think all of us would agree with that one.
Yeah. I mean, as Russ said, we ran into only one single bug. That's pretty dang good for a game like that we played in a single sitting. Yeah. And the bug was just a weird little bug where I died and it respawned me under the floor. But, so
yeah, it's phenomenal. And to hear Russ and you and Nick, all on the exact same page as me, that's just four different gamers that all love this game the same way. It's fantastic.
Which is funny though.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, which is really funny because, we said that this was developed by Hazelight Studios. I keep saying I hate that. But I did tell you guys, and you guys already know who the publisher is, but our publishers are people that we hate. Which is
loathe. Loathe.
I wanted to leave that out intentionally just because of, the hate that Shane has for these guys, and it might come out in the cast. But I mean, EA published both of their games for them, so A Way Out and this one. So, but it sounds like EA kind of kept their hands and distance away. They just basically really became publishers. They don't own Hazelight Studios, so that's probably what helps them out. Is that EA is just publishing the game for them, and they still control all the rights. So I guess EA is good when they're just being a publisher and not part of the company,
keeping their dirty fingers out of that pie. And that's an amazing thing that this company has put out. And if EA is smart, they won't touch them. They will just publish, take their little piece of pie, and go home. Because this company has got something special. They truly do. They truly, truly do.
Are they, Patrick, are they a part of the EA Originals? Is that what they're a part of?
I think that's what they are. I think that's what I'd read was that when I was looking into who they were, because I forgot they made that. This is only 2 games they made when I was looking. I think that's what I had, that they were that Originals.
Yeah, because that's like EA's indie side, which is the EA Originals, which is probably one that, EA, like a lot of developers with their indies, they don't really have much, if any, influence on their indie titles. They just let their indies do what they want. Because they're smaller, they don't need that big budget AAA, even though the game comes out as a AAA, in this instance. But yeah, I think, for my final thoughts, this game is, it's a great game. You should pick it up now. If you have a friend or a loved one that you want to play this game with, like we said, you only have to only one person has to buy it if you don't have like Game Share or something like that. Because you can download the Friend Pass on the store and you both can play it regardless. So you only have to buy one copy regardless. So that's really cool. And this game, I think, is $40. But of course, if you have Xbox Live Ultimate, you also have EA Play that comes with Ultimate, which means you get a 10% discount. So the game's actually only $35. So it's definitely worth the buy. Even at $40, I think it's worth the buy. Shoot, as well as this game is, and as long as this game is, I would say $60 is definitely worth the buy for this
Absolutely.
one. But from me, I think it's worth it, and it gets an ITD stamp of approval.
Yep, for a unanimous stamp of approval from ITD, not even a wavering. I mean, all of us, I would buy it, and I would probably pay $60 for it because I got 11 hours out of it with Russ, and who knows how much more time I'm going to get out of it if I play through with Becca or if I play through with Nick again. Who knows what we'll get out of this one.
Absolutely. I don't think we've ever agreed so much on one game in our entire time of all
since Ghost. Since Ghost.
Probably Ghost, yeah. But you know what?
That felt like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, I am just so excited to see what this company can do next. I really am. Just, I honestly, I'd like to see Disney buy up the story and make a movie on it. I want to see what they do because
one thing we did. I Shrunk the Kids.
One thing we didn't bring up though before we're done with this is the graphics on this thing. I thought every world was beautiful. Every world was just beautiful and well done, and I mean the world was a character in its own, every world, and I loved it.
Yeah, like I said, the space one, that was just awesome when I hit the space one. And like I said, the space was visually and gameplay appealing to me until I did the attic. And then the attic, I was like, I'm done. This is it. This is my level.
Yep.
I mean, I think like that wise, the garden was unbelievable to me. And then I am a huge fan of that the clock. I mean, it was a little bit of a difficult level, but just the intricate work within that was just a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, anybody else got any topics they want to bring up on this one? It sounds like favorable reviews all around for these guys.
Definitely
don't
a great
freaking
buy at
touch
that
'em.
price point. Sorry about that, Shane.
No, you're fine. I just want EA to keep their dirty fingers away from this people and just give them what they need to get the game out. That's it, because I love this company and I love this game.
Well, Shane is nosing the meatball over to Nick's side for the finale of Lady and the Tramp style. So we're going to wrap this one up. All right. So we appreciate everybody listening to this episode, and we hope that you'll catch us in the next one.
See ya.